Holocaust Cornerstone program began in the fall of 2016, so we just completed our second year, and we are really excited that nearly 1,700 students from DC Public Schools have visited the museum in each of the first 2 years.
Well, since the museum opened about 25 years ago, one of its first commitments the first year was to making this institution accessible to the local public school students in the area.
The idea of this project was to go beyond the normal ways that teachers might engage students in learning about the Holocaust, and to really bring to bear high-impact instructional models, really rich and rigorous content, and then also help students to experience something that goes beyond the classroom by having them visit the Holocaust Museum, taking advantage of one of the great resources in our city here in Washington, D.C.
For young people, they need to own their own learning, and there is no better place to be involved in, to ask great questions, than learning in a museum. This history in particular engages young people and causes them to ask significant questions. In answering those questions, they begin to look at their world today, at their responsibility in it, and they become engaged in learning. They become curious.
I think every high school student in the country should have the opportunity to visit the Holocaust Museum, and for those of us in DC, we have to take advantage of this opportunity. It's right down the street.
We coordinated with the education programming team at the Holocaust Museum to figure out the logistics of how to get a couple thousand DCPS 10th graders over to the museum.
High school students should visit the Holocaust Museum because it's a good experience, and they let you know what happened in them days, because some people don't know the story or the background of what happened to people.
It makes it really hit home when they can see items about what they're learning about, like the history kind of comes alive.
When I came to the museum, I really didn't know what to expect.
But they also, Hitler and the Nazis, they did not just target the Jews, they also had other people that they considered inferior. And the reason behind this was because they were not part of the Aryan race. You guys know about the Aryan race?
All the shoes, I didn't expect to see that.
We have those few hours, and not only are they learning so much more, but they're really forming these connections with the docents they meet, with the objects they see and interact with, that I think it really cements their experience and their knowledge of the Holocaust.
I was 17 back then. I came on a field trip just like you all did, and I never thought that one field trip would have set my career path.
The importance of this way of learning, of the Cornerstone Initiative in DC Public Schools, I think really is a trendsetter. It is a model for teaching and learning that we hope is followed by other school districts.
When we read Night in school, I read it, but then I went to the museum and I saw it. And then I met a survivor who told me that it happened to them.
That's my brother Joe and me.
To meet a Holocaust survivor and to speak with a Holocaust survivor it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for all of us, especially our kids.
And all of a sudden, some bricks and rocks came flying through our bedroom window. And I tell you, I was really scared. And my brother, he's a year younger than I am, and he said, "Susie, it is our neighbors that are throwing the bricks and rocks through the window."
We're trying to make the history come alive for them and to actually meet someone who lived during that time, who experienced a lot of things that we're teaching about in class, just brings the history alive.
That fog just lifted up like this, and there was a Statue of Liberty. It was the most exciting thing we ever saw.
There's a very personal connection when you're meeting with somebody who survived this, who lived through this dehumanization. It makes it much more relatable.
We want you all to gain from this experience and learn from these lessons. You hear the term "never again" for the Holocaust, but unfortunately, things like these atrocities have happened time and time again. Happened in Cambodia, Bosnia, Rwanda, the Sudan. As I stand here right now, some of the same type of atrocities are happening. So we want this history to really resonate with you so you can learn from this, okay? You are the generation that we want to get it right.
It's very important that we go through the very detrimental things that happen, negative things that happen, because we can learn from them, And we can't learn from them if you don't go.
Watching them kind of connect our classroom knowledge to very real situations going on today, refugee crisis, what's in the news. I just felt immense pride, and I mean it when I say that I think this is a life-changing experience for them, and I think it's going to inform their futures.
I think it's important that high school students learn about the Holocaust so they can understand what other people went through, and maybe one day if they go through it, they can know what to do.
All high school students should visit the Holocaust Museum.
Of the students who visited the museum, 90% said that the visit helped them to understand the role of bystanders, which is a critical takeaway in making sure that something like the Holocaust never happens again.
What I do matters.
You all are part of that story.
What I do matters.
That is the practice of education. It's what makes great citizens. It's what makes curious and innovative adults. So we think that DCPS is building a model that should be shared with other districts in the country.